All right, let's do this. Okay, it's another dual domination group stage game for bracket four, I believe. I'm exclusively doing bracket four. I like to stick in one bracket so I get to know the players, get to know the teams. Don't like jumping around too much. I want to stick with same people, same teams. 'Cause I think that's a fun way to do it. So we're back here with Cuban Cigars, who we did cover last time. They did get a win against, it will come to me, Newkit. They beat Newkit 2-1. They absolutely threw the last game, um, which was highly entertaining. They definitely could have gone up 3-0, um, but there was 2-1. And they're back again, and they're playing against another team that I haven't covered before yet, which is Butts. So I had a fun time coming up with the AI image generator image for them. As you can imagine, you can get a little more explicit um, with that name, but I decided to go a little more PC. Um, Yeah, highly entertaining, highly entertaining. Um, but yeah, let's look at these drafts. We have Bay as the admin map, so that'll be the first map played. And I believe Butts randomed slopes. So I don't know if that was on purpose or if that was, um, they were just late to the draft or something like that. I'm not sure. But they random slopes, and Cuban Cigars have gone for a very boring Arabia pick, um, which is completely fine. But we see Arabia a lot as it is. It's always interesting when it's part of the tournament setting, but it could be entertaining, especially with the different settings. The dual setting. Yeah, Arabia, yuck. Uh, Grape juice says. Um, oh, thank you so much, AK-47 guy. Uh, Good to see you. I think I know you somehow. Like, I don't know you, obviously, but I know of you. So I'll make that connection as we go along. Is your good friend? Well, good to have more and more friends along to the street. Um, but yes, let's have a look at this draft. So we have the infamous Wu, um, very overpowered. So yes, hello Lemon Toaster. Good to see you as well. Yes, the Wu are completely overpowered. I'd probably expect to see them on Bay, um, in all likelihood. But you could really see them on any map because they're just that good. Uh, Actually, Persians on Bay would also be very, very good with the faster docks. Hindustanis, maybe slopes, maybe Arabia. I think they're just always a good civ to have in the draft, very flexible. The urchins, I think that just brings another interesting civ to the table. I don't think they're any good. Are they particularly good? I'm not sure. I think they're one of the lower civ rate, win rate civs, but I think they've been entertaining, especially with the Grenadiers. They're not bad. So not terrible, but maybe not top tier. And Britons I don't see all that often, so maybe that's a comfort pick. But in Cuban Cigars, we have Japanese, I'd expect Bombay, Khmer, not sure, Vikings, not sure about that pick either, but Tatars on slopes would be great. Or Huns would be great on that map too. Maybe we're going for some kind of comfort pick, Khmer or Vikings on Arabia. So, um, yeah, interesting civs. grape juice predicts Hindustanis on Arabi. We'll see if that comes true. But yeah, I'm planning on really ramping up the dual domination coverage going into playoffs, bracket 4. You'll be seeing a lot of me, you know, probably short and sharp streams as well. You know, in and out in 2 hours, I would be expecting, but you'll see more of me. So hopefully that's a good thing. All right, let's get into the games. All right, here we go. We're on Bay. This is Cuban Cigars on the Vikings. Oops, I started it. All right, we got Cuban cigars on the Vikings. We've got Butts on the Persians. We haven't talked enough about the team name choice and what has motivated them to choose this name. I don't know particularly who's on this team. I didn't do that much looking into the actual players on these teams. But I'm expecting some, you know, late teenage, maybe, you know, university student kind of boy from, let's say, America. This is where my mind is going. Or it's just somebody having a laugh. But this is what the tournament's all about. It's about having a laugh. I'm all for the name. I am absolutely all for the name. And actually, I've spelt it wrong there. It's actually Butts with a 5 as the S. So I put the Z there, which is incorrect. But yes, Cuban Cigars, very strong team. I was very impressed by them against Newkit, especially their economy setup. I thought was very solid whenever you went back to their home base. It was always very tidy, very clean, lots of farms, well-positioned camps, very manicured, good layout, and that's what the dual domination, the two-player format, does allow, is attention to detail. I feel as though they do it well, and also not too shabby on the military side either. They did a lot of mini raids. They would have multiple groups of units across the map. So I feel as though this is a team that is very detailed oriented, which is quite impressive at like a 900 average ELO bracket. But yeah, they're off to the dock. You like the flowers? Yeah. I thought it jazzed up the can, you know, make it a bit more interesting than a standard box. I like it. But yes, they've gone to water. Butts is looking or waiting for wood. They have the wood actually. Maybe they thought they could put the dock out here further based on this shallow terrain. But no, you can't do that. You've got to still put it against the shore. But yeah, Persian should be really strong on this map. I would favour the Persian Civ matchup against Vikings. Certainly. At least in the early game to get this fish. You know, this is not an insignificant amount of fish. This is, well, it's actually a little less than I thought, but you know, much more than, say, Acropolis, which might only have 2 fish piles, for instance, or Jungle Swamp might have 4 or 5. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's quite a lot. It's a good boost. But this map is it's a very interesting map. You know, I feel like the map can spiral out of control for players. Have seen a lot where one player will extend right out here into the middle. The other player will kind of turtle a little bit inside the base and not venture out as much. Um, but, you know, it'll be interesting to see how this particular instance of the map plays out. Like, if there's a skill discrepancy, I feel like this map can spiral out of control for people. This is a lot on food. A lot on one boar with 12 villages. Could be splitting this up a bit. But I do notice there are no deer on this map, or the deer have already been collected. Something I should have been paying attention to, but based on the amount of scouting, I would think that no deer are on this map. Yeah, Vikings going for archers is almost a certainty. I wouldn't expect men-at-arms, just because I feel like that's quite a long way to go. I guess it's not inconceivable to do a men-at-arms rush, but I think this economy has been set up for archers. Otherwise, you might already have some of the men-at-arms out. But yeah, I would say archers for the Viking player. Persians, you know, obviously think cavalry, but I think they might go for a defensive playstyle early on to get fishing up. Maybe go for a fast castle into knights. Is what I would be expecting here, although I'm not a Persian player myself. I just feel like the amount of resources you have to commit up front is quite a lot. And yeah, sorry, I should be saying that this gold production for both players is also directed towards the pond and fire galleys. That would probably be coming out first. Oh, okay. We do have some men-at-arms out. We've got 2 more being produced. So we are going for men-at-arms. Would like to see... sorry, these are militia, but I would expect the men-at-arms upgrade to be coming up pretty soon. We're going into an immediate stable. I like that they're not wasting any time with this, and you will have to, you know, come in together eventually. You don't want them picked off necessarily, but yeah, we'll see it. You know, I think galleys are a mistake on this map. I think fire galleys are the play. I think the Persians team are going to win water based on that decision alone. But these villages have been taken off berries. Obviously, don't want to get hit by the TC. It's enough to get them off berries. That is a win in of itself. And sometimes actually going for scalps into men-at-arms isn't the most ideal strategy. Archers would be the ideal. But you can eventually obviously overwhelm men-at-arms with scalps. It's just a little less effective, for sure. And we've got this fire galley chasing this galley around. Got into demolition rafts already for Cuban Cigars. For me, that's usually a sign of desperation, is the demo rafts. There's no groups of fire galleys, but that could have been executed better. You can kind of one-shot fishing boats with demo rafts, as long as you're in the right position. Don't know if that was just autoed there, or they intended to do that. Not sure, but they can get through here. I don't know if they think this is not open. Well, maybe it's not open. That tree's in the way, it would seem. Scouts also attacking gold, so this is very annoying. Cuban Cigars obviously thought that was open. It is not. But we have scouts come through the back. There is a spearman here for Cuban Cigars, so really well played. Prepping the walls for berries, putting the spearman on gold, having kind of little walls here and a spearman in prep. So that's really well done. Men-at-arms are coming through. That house wasn't put down. The foundation was, and the foundation will now be set, but the men-at-arms are already through. So more idle time here on this wood line. That's going to be very annoying for Bucks. I can't believe I have to say their team name. But these men-at-arms have definitely got a lot of value. You know, and even this scout has been really annoying, coming in and out, in and out. And they could have walled that off and kept the villagers on gold. Butts has done a good job on water though, maybe even over-committing here on water. And I don't think they've got any value. These villagers are on the outside. They could have killed their villagers. Oh, and there is a hole as well. So, but yeah, the spearmen are going to be very hard to get around. Looks like we did miss some. Oh no, sorry, the men-at-arms are still alive. I think one has gone. Nope, he's over here chasing this villager. So much value. So much value. This scout is on 1 hit point. Finally goes down. These men-at-arms are finally also going to go down to scouts. However, we are up to castle age for Cuban Cigars. This villager's going to try and go build this wall. Got to run into this villager. Men-at-arms got to try and finish off this house. Get a few more shots on these villagers. More walling. He is walled out. That house could go down. It will go down. Which is unfortunate. So this village is going to perish. These spearmen are out of position, unfortunately. Actually, villager is saved. So very well done. Villagers coming forward to the side with a lot of scouts, and they're going to put down a TC. So yeah, I think Cuban Cigars are absolutely killing it right now. These scouts are going to find this though. It's a good bit of scouting. But Butts has really stabilized as well, and they've got the villager lead. They're not in castle, but they do have 3 fishing ships. Cuban Cigars have given up water. There's no more fish left. Well, excuse me, there's about 36 food there. So fish are basically gone. So that 3 eco lead is deceiving there, because it's all fishing ships. Nearly gets the quick walls down. Spearmen are coming though. Gonna get some good hits down. Butts have done well with these limited scouts, although now they're going to get another few hits on them. More TCs. They could be positioned a little bit better if I was going to be overly critical. I think I would have liked this TC right on the gold and the wood. I don't like being pressed right up against the sideline, if you know what I mean. You can put the TC forward as a protection and build the economy behind. There's not much space behind these TCs to do that. So yeah, Cuban Cigars they're looking nice right now. They do have a lot on wood. They're not going to be able to maintain TC production, I don't think, although they've got a lot of food in the bank. We're sticking with the 1 TC here for butts. And they've got 2 stables. And quite a lot of gold, heaps on food. I love their economy. And this could be a problem. Especially this stone is going to be unprotected. The idea of a castle might be thwarted just by this number of knights. 2 scouts go down to those spearmen. Quick walls going down as well. They're not confident in getting the walls down and they just run. They're like, we're not getting these walls down. We're just out of here. We're gonskis. Definitely could have got those walls down. I think the knights should just take this. These are spearmen. Better to be spearmen than make them turn into a pikeman, and then you can keep pressuring this. Monks coming out. We're talking 900 elo, guys. 900 elo monks. You can only do this in a dual domination setting. The capacity to micro monks obviously increases if you got 2 players on your team. I can't do it at the best of times. These spearmen have been taken way out of position. I'd be heading straight back to the stone. But look at the amount of spearmen. 9 spearmen. That is so many resources invested into spearmen. But we saw this last time from Cuban Cigars, but this is Butt5 actually. Splitting up, the ability to split up your army because you got that much more micro potential. But yeah, Cuban Cigars really want that stone, and they're actually going into Imperial. This is so greedy. This is incredibly greedy. And they're getting away with it even with this pressure. You've got to get that other foundation down there. You could run. You can run right through. Get that wood. But good now that we got the pikeman upgrade. Still won't be enough to get these knights, and that's going to be a lot of dead. Oh, he should have. I guess there's more pikemen on the way. A lot of pikemen. A lot of disruption back here. If he had gone through here, he would have seen a lot of damage. He would have split the pikemen up. But yeah, getting closer and closer to that castle. A lot of farms back here. Relic in that monastery too. Knights preventing any of those farms being used. But we should see a castle come down. We should have seen the castle already come down at this point. And probably placing it here to prevent any run through. But yeah, the economy on butts is pretty good as well. So I think this is still a bit of a stalemate situation. But we've got more than enough on stone. We've got enough stone for sure to build that castle. You know, we need some kind of defensive castle. We've needed it for a while. I just put it down. Forget about walls. Go castle. Where's your castle? You're in Imperial, you got enough stone for a castle. You've got the counter unit. Butts doesn't seem to be interested in any other unit. You're free to put it down. Put it down. Put it down. He's even getting the stone. Oh, sorry, that's Butts. Butts is getting the stone. They're thinking of a castle of their own. Eventually, they're a little way off. TC being built at the top there, that's always a good sign. But yeah, Butts has killed a lot of eco units, 16 eco units at this point. We've got enough for 2 castles. You can literally put down 2 castles. Panic houses at the back. But yeah, what is Butts' plan? They're just pretty content to boom back here. Both players have quite high idle TC time, so they've got the TCs, but they don't have TCs producing at all times. But here we go. Here come the villagers forward. Here come the villagers forward, and they're going to think of dropping a castle on the face of Butts. They're thinking about dropping a castle on the face of Butts. It's not a sentence I thought I would be saying. They wanted to drop it there where that TC is, and they haven't noticed yet, so they're going to have to back up. They've given the show away, for sure, about what the plan actually is. And it's given Butts the opportunity to build a defensive castle of their own. They probably didn't need the walls, but has gone for them regardless. That is open. No, it's not open, sorry. But this is ambitious. I mean, you're not going to make it. Those pikemen are going to go down. Knights in the back get cleaned up. These pikemen will get cleaned up. Town centre will go up. So a lot of town centres for both players. Need to go into an immediate trip here. This is a castle off. And these pikemen are just going to be a nuisance. Berserk. Don't need a berserk. We need trebs. Definitely need trebs at this point. And that's what Butts is going to do. So that is nice. I like this from Butts. I just don't think the berserkers... They're going to be good, obviously. Like, berserkers are a good unit, but look at these scorpions in preparation for this, along with the pikemen. It's just the perfect unit they're producing here for this. Having said that, the berserks don't go down quick, but the pikemen do. Going for rams, so we don't have the treads, but we've got rams. I don't know, because Persian player can go nice, absolutely demolish rams. Berserk's getting close to scorpions, so that's tough, but yeah, castle's gonna go down real easy. We're going into War Elephant now. Cavalier upgrade coming in, Knights coming in. Those rams won't stand a chance. Trebuchet will be healed. This PC would definitely go down. Villagers will attack it though. So rams will also go down. This has been a really entertaining game. Both players are playing really well here. We've got 3 war elephants in that castle. And as soon as they pop out, it's going to be tough for Cuban Cigars to handle that, even with pikemen. Pikemen doesn't matter. Like, who cares? Pikemen are also going to run under the towers here. House deleted. Rams exposed to the war elephants. They're not going to get the job done against that castle with that. Pikemen under TC fire. Berserks on the back, causing real havoc. I'm sure that's very distracting. I didn't even see this castle being built on this side. Berserk is spewing in here, but that's not going to last. They've got nothing to maintain that position. Another castle's gone up to pick this gold. Siege workshop producing rams. Conscription coming out. I like that addition. Could even see some more war elephants coming eventually, and this is fantastic. Walling off the side. Cuban Cigars behind this, though, their economy is booming. So even though I'm really liking the responses here from Butt5, the economy for Cuban Cigars is crazy. They might be able to stabilize behind all this pressure. Pikeman's still coming forward. Random mangonel. Don't think this is the time for mangonels, if I'm being honest. You know, I might even think about doing your the old trash boat at this point. Could be really good against these pikemen. You absolutely nail that. Because they'll give the Cavalier problems in the long run. Look at all that gold on Cuban Cigars, wow. And just the resources in general are huge compared to Butt's. And that's because of that eco difference. They're hemmed into this corner. Really hemmed into this corner. They're focusing so much effort on this attack that, you know, the long-term economy, I'm a bit concerned for. And, you know, it's like ants all over your base. You might be responding well, but it's like a Zerg rush at this point. The castle can't keep up with how many pikemen it has to take down. And even though 2 castles have gone down, just another one pops up and trebuchets are on your door. That is unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. It's going to be another castle as well, so it's just incessant at this point. Got the Berserk text coming in, I believe. What? Is that the Berserk text? I can't even remember. Vikings in so long. They haven't been good for so long. That I forget. But I assume so because Elite Berserk coming in. Got Blast Furnace in. So these infantry are gonna really come into play. Even these pikemen. They're gonna hit pretty hard even against villagers because they got all the upgrades. They've got 8 attacks. Pretty good. Castle and backup castle. And this is a lot of resources just being sunk into holding this castle for a little bit longer. I don't even know why these trebs are coming. Why are these trebs coming forward? And exposing themselves to Cavalier? Especially at such slow hit points, they're going to be all taken out. That was questionable, I would say, why that happened. But yeah, this hasn't even been looked at um, the old Zerg rush behind, and we're down to 58 villages for Butts. So I thought they were doing really, really well, but obviously Cuban Cigars were able to really solidify the economy behind all this push. I wasn't even really paying attention to the amount of barracks they've got back here. But the 50 on wood, 40 on food, they can sustain it forever. Castles for days. They've even got these back resources. They don't even need this castle, but they've got the whole map. And we saw this from them in the last series. They're just really good at this map, putting the pressure on and spreading behind it. So really well played, but I was also impressed by Butts. Again, the amount of quotes that are going to come out of me in this series. In a way, I almost hope. No, I won't say that. I was going to say I hope Butts lose, so I don't have to say his name for too much longer. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. Big Butts can't lie. Yeah. All right. Let's go back to the starting screen while I get the next match up. Just got to figure out what the next match is, which map it is. Considering Butts lost, it should be slopes. So we're going to go slopes. Should be the way that it is progressed. So I'll just get this up and pause it. All right, we'll be ready to go in just a second. But yeah, thanks all for joining on another, well, for me, it's a Wednesday night cast, midweek cast. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to be casting a lot more of this bracket for group stage and playoffs. So we're still group stage right now, but not many teams will actually get knocked out. It's almost like seeding. 6 teams go through basically. I think it is top 3, but 2 and 3 have to play the other group 2 and 3 to face the first in the group. So it's 6 teams that go through out of 8. So we're going to see a lot of these teams again. But yes, here we are. We are in the game. The names have changed, so I should have changed this behind the scenes. But Sanchovies and Temperance are the players. They are on Cuban Cigars. And Hooty Doody actually makes sense for Butts, doesn't it? Make sure I got it right with the 5 there. Cuban Cigars are 1-0 up. All right, let's go. So, game 2. Butts on the Britons. Cuban Cigars on the Huns. And we are on slopes. I was expecting Tatars here, for sure. One of my favorite sets is the Tatars, so I'm always vying for them to be played. They're not played that much. You see them a lot on Acropolis, of course, bit of Kilimanjaro. But slopes would also be good with the high ground situations, which is where they thrive. But Hunts would also be good on this map, quite open, a lot of food available, so you can get your cab out. Britons, not sure about this. Not sure about Britons. I keep saying whenever I see them, I don't think they're a particularly good civ right now. Not like their heyday. I just find them a bit lacking. Do find them a bit lacking. How many? Yes. Do we even have that many ducks to take? You know, shepherds. We got the shepherd bonus. Collecting faster food. It's not like there's more ducks on the map. So, don't think they're particularly suited for the map. But, you know, comfort picks are important as well, especially at this level. If you're good on a particular civ, just roll with it, I guess. So, you know, if these players are really good at Britons, I can't really fault them for that. You've got to play your best civs. But yeah, saw this from Cuban Cigars last time, pushing deer all the way from this little pond. It's quite a long way, quite time intensive, but again, you can do that if you've got 2 players on your team. Don't know if we're going to see this from Butts. Looks like he is just scouting. And that's going to put Cuban Cigars at a real advantage if they're pushing deer and Butts are not. So we'll see what he does there. He can always mill this, and then you get access to the fish as well. If I was to hypothesize, that's why the fish are here, is to encourage the milling of the deer. You obviously can't push fish. So that could be an option for Butts, but you know, I would hesitate to do that against Huns actually, because of the raiding potential. It's quite far from base. If you don't protect it well with spearmen, it's guaranteed villages that will go down. Yeah, that could be tough. Could see running under the TC here. No. Or at least no response. So attention is elsewhere. Second deer being pushed in. You could disrupt the deer push with scouts. Oh. Very nice. I love the attempt. I think that's really good. That's a really good attempt. And a really heads up play. Let's see what he does now, because I think he will know that he's going to go back for the deer. Or Cuban Cigars might just give up on the deer, knowing that Butts now know about that. No, it's going to go back to the deer, and scouting is going to continue for Butts. I think he's looking for the wood line for a potential raid. Remember, he did go for the men-at-arms rush last time. He's looking for an isolated villager. We'll find it, but not isolated enough. Alright, going for another bounce. So this could be another men-at-arms rush, especially knowing where the wood line is. We are on gold as well. It would indicate to me men-at-arms, but we'll see. We'll see. Do I like this map? I haven't even played it personally. I think it could be good. I've only seen one game played on it. It did produce an entertaining game. I'm unsure. I do like objectives that present risk and opportunity So milling is a risk. You know, there is a trade-off to pushing this deer. It's very time-consuming pushing this deer, so you're giving up a lot of scouting. So, you know, this hasn't been scouted. Not going to do men-at-arms, by the way. Going to do archers. So I like that the trade-off is that the deer are really far away. Not like Arabia, where you can just push there and it's, you know, like a given at that point. You do have to make a choice. I like that a lot. I think the gold positions are good. You know, pretty standard gold in your base. You do have a couple of mid golds. I did watch Hera's recent video today about the problems of maps that have gold in the middle, and it's like an infinite source of gold in the middle, that it doesn't produce any interest really. Like it's a foregone conclusion if you get middle. Obviously this is not much gold in the middle, but there is still a advantage for going there. But the objectives on the sides, having the hill and having a bit of gold up here as well, means that it's kind of a balanced decision. But having the high ground is really good. So to answer your question, I think now that I've thought about it a bit more, I think that the map does present interesting decisions, and even the wood lines are not ideal, are they? You might be encouraged to go up to the sides away from your opponent for long-term resources. So yeah, I think the balance of the map is nice, actually. But yeah, actually, so got scout rushes going, which you'd expect from the Huns. Butts is going to ignore that raid, or feel as though that they can deal with it back home, and push forward with spearmen and archers. A couple of villagers left behind. I think this will be a dead villager. It is, so that's a really good eco kill. We've got an archery range on the back. That's going to produce skirmishes. That is the right play, in my opinion, because you've got the spearmen there. The scouts cannot engage with this, so forcing the skirmisher. So I think this is a pretty high level play by both players. Skirmishers focusing on the archers, which I love. Getting value out of these archers though, which is nice. And he might just pounce here. Getting the archer number down. Skirmishers could attack the spears as well, because they are, you know, they've got a bonus against them as well. So we'll eventually see skirmishers take the win there. But of course, this is a lot of resources for skirmishers. But looking at the resource bank, it's somewhat even. Partially because fletching was researched alongside that. Scouts aren't going to find anything here. Even if they do, it's basically one scout, not two scouts, because, you know, this scout has 3 hit points. And spearmen are in defense as well. And we're really going to siphon off this wood too. Got reinforcements here actually, and they're going to swoop around the other way, away from these skirmishers. These skirmishers are expecting the attack to come from that side, so they might be out of position once this hits. And, you know, 6 archers at once can do a lot of damage. Might be able to get 2, maybe 3. He's given the game away here with the spears. You know, if those spears didn't come forward and the archers just came forward on the wood line, I reckon he gets 2, maybe 3 villagers there. Now the skirmish is going to come across. So that's unfortunate, but it does create a lot of idle time on your villagers. Get through, but here are the skirmishes. You got to run from that, of course. Definitely don't stick around when there are 6 skirmishes there. 100% not worth it. But we're both up to castle age similar times for both players. Yeah, the map kind of reminds me of Langanati. Yeah, maybe a little bit actually. I do like Langanati. I thought that was really good in TTL. It produced really interesting games. You know, the wood to the sides being one of the elements of Langanati. If I'm thinking of the right map, I think I'm thinking of the right map. But gold is obviously a little more spread. Which, you know, I like it when gold is not overly abundant and it's spread across the map in interesting ways. So I do think the gold situation in Langanati does present interesting objectives as well. So I do like both, 100%. But yeah, this is a close match. This is definitely a close match. Britons obviously want to go for archers, but they're stable in their barracks. You know, I think they're okay, but you don't necessarily want to go into any of those units. So what do you go at? Like, what do you go as Britons? What's the combo? Do you just overwhelm with a huge amount of archers? Or, you know, skirmishes in front is obviously always a good play with archers, and, you know, especially against the Huns. So I'd say that's probably the combo. Second TC coming through. But second TC is already there for Cuban Cigars, and I love this TC placement. This wall was never completed for some reason, which is unlucky. These scouts, which were doing a superb scouting job, one of them gets taken down. Archers get a pick off even though the TC is right there. I'll just chuck these on gold probably. Yep. Obviously waiting for Skirmisher Bodkin to come in. I would think about putting down another archery range for sure. That's going into a 3rd TC. You know, that's an underrated bonus of the Britons. You got cheaper TCs. Using it to good effect. And also securing resources for both TCs, which you'd love to see. I don't know what Huns, what are their siege options? They're pretty bad. They get Mangonel. I mean, that's fine. You can still go Mangonel here. And that would be 100% fine. Just not a long-term option. Cav Archer, of course. You know, maybe Cav Archer just to play, actually. And at this stage of the game, you would expect one player at least is on army all the time. So there'll be 2 players just focusing on this. 2 Cav Archers coming over. That's obviously, you obviously want a ball of Cav Archers. They're going to run into a TC. But good response. And they're going to try and get through this wall. Love the ballistics addition here. for Cuban Cigars. It's going to be much easier to take out those archers. And instead of a siege workshop at home, we're thinking of a siege workshop forward. I probably would have put it home based on this pressure. As these skirmishers are out looking. This is a lot of archers though. And these cav archers, that's unfortunate. They're going to go down pretty quick. And that siege workshop not going to go up. Again, probably would have liked to see that siege workshop at home. But this is a scary number of archers, and I might even expect a siege workshop forward for butts. Siege workshop going at home now. These villagers are on the run. They're running the wrong way though, which is an issue. I would try to split these up. Try to get a sneak villager at the back maybe that will survive. But that's not going to happen. Good job to distract these archers for a while though. And that is understood by butts eventually, where they turn half the army back. No mangonels out yet. We've been producing cave archers for a while and only 2 are left on the floor because they keep on getting picked off. But what is the follow-up? I just don't know what the follow-up here for Butts is. He's got what he needs, but he doesn't have the forward siege workshop. He can't damage the opponent based on the TC's Cuban Cigars have. Could get back on the wood line, but then you're trapping yourself. Yeah, I'm not liking this actually. Because you're trapping yourself between the edge of the map and the skirmishers. The skirmishers just need to... I reckon they can pounce on this. 17 skirmishers against 19 archers. Why not? Very tentative here. Get the high ground, yes. Just take this, yeah. You got this. That's a lot of dead gold units to your skirmisher units, which are not even alternating shots here to prevent the micro. You do have ballistics, so not as much of an issue, but that is a walkover. I would have liked to have seen that a little bit earlier. 3 dead archers simultaneously. Really good stuff there from Cuban Cigars, but a little late, I would say. He was very cognizant of the high ground though, so I will give him that. He did make sure he walked to the high ground before shooting down to the archers. Love that. Absolutely love that. And now we've got knights now. So I think Cuban Cigars is looking in a good position. Sorry, I think I keep on confusing the teams. Playing Cuban Cigars and Butts Cuban Cigars, but you know what I mean. So please forgive any mistakes. But yeah, Cuban Cigars having knights on the floor is huge positive now. But again, very little raid potential, I would say. For both players, really. These are very compact bases. This is a bit exposed, for sure. I like this TC up here. Also doing the same for Cuban Cigars. So I think this game is going to go pretty late. I think both players are looking pretty good. Anakin, I have the high ground. That's the Tatar bonus. The high ground bonus. That sign is only reserved for Tatar. The Kenobi bonus, as Spirit of the Law like to say. But yes, now we're seeing, okay, seeing the action now. Butts thinks they've got a bit of map control. They're gonna go for a castle. It's only to secure the middle. It's not that ambitious. I reckon, well, I guess you've seen knights, you've seen skirmishes. You wouldn't be that confident to do a forward castle actually, so this is probably fine. It's probably a good decision actually. Especially if you want to go into longbowmen or something like that. You don't want to, you want to have a safer castle if you're going to go unique unit. Bit of walling on the side, don't hate that. Obviously you can't wall all the way down, this is unbuildable terrain, you can't wall to that tree line, which is a good feature of the map again, so yeah. Map is actually pretty nice. The walling is prevented though by archers. We're going into squires, so we're gonna see infantry of some kind, probably halberdiers, yes, pikemen have been introduced. This will be needed to be dealt with at some point. Monks are coming actually, so that's a good defense. That's gonna be a conversion, almost certainly. Wow, that was a long conversion. Archers are on this gold. If that TC was closer to the goal, which I would advise, that would not have happened. So good stuff from Butts to punish that. Archery ranges and a stable on the side of Cuban Cigars. Villagers moving to the other side. They are exposed. You know, Cavalier was there, so that was a little risky for my taste. Having this monk edition has been really nice, just to stave off any idea of a breakthrough from Cav. Yes, and we are going longbowmen. We are going to go for more barracks. Very tentative gameplay from both players, I would say. Not feeling confident to do a full-scale invasion, I will say. Pretty content just to get to their Imperial Age power spikes, as we see a lot of upgrades coming through. Yeah, Cavalier can definitely take this. This might be a little premature from Butts. Might lose a lot here. These are long conversions, which I think is unfortunate. I just needed to build that halberdier number up a little bit more. Defensive castle for Cuban Cigars comes in. So more trebuchets on the way. Halberdier is there. Conscription is nice to get the halberdier numbers out. Eventually, knights will be able to take down TC on their own. Not quite yet though. But they are looking for raids on the sides. This is going to leave the middle open with a larger number of halberdier. Never trickle tread though, my friend. Never trickle tread. You need about 3 trebs with these halberdiers. stone gate with palisades is a little bit funny. Gonna try and stonewall behind us. Stonewalling the wrong place though. It's gonna run away, but attacking on this side at the same time. I don't think this has been noticed yet. Trebs, 2 trebs now, and repairing villages. 3rd treb comes out. I don't see a way Cuban Cigars can deal with this anytime soon, especially only with knights. They don't have any cav archers. I don't think they've got the unit composition to deal with this, but knights are in on the back. They have the triple armor paladins coming in, so this could be a problem. Could be a huge problem. But yeah, even so, this push is not going to be easily dealt with. I think this number of knights is not enough to do any kind of long-term damage. Killing a lot of villages though. Gonna be tough. Need to keep producing halbs though. This is a lot of barrack. There's a lot of halberdier in queue. So regardless of how many paladin you get, it might not be enough. But yeah, more halberdier need to deal with it. You know, the arrows are tickling these paladins. Another paladin goes down though. A lot of idle eco. Missing a huge fight up here actually, but this is not ideal if you're Cuban Cigars. That is a lot of wasted resources. I don't know if it's worth it. And you're just not going to be able to produce... Oh, tower goes down just as the mining camp was going to go up. So, nope. You are not welcome here. And yeah, the skirmishers have not been involved in this fight at all. That would be a good kind of counter to this combo. Maybe they needed to go into more skirmisher. If not, cav archer, of course. It's going to be a nice fight to the side here. That's pretty desperate. These paladins are going to try and get the angle on the trebs. No, maybe? No. They're going to still try to see what they can do on the sides. It's a bit of a desperation play, if I'm being honest. But it might work. Could work. How many halberdiers have we got back here? Probably not enough. Yep, not enough for sure. The skirmishers are going to hold this battle off. I think, yes. Stable light cav is a decent option. I don't hate that at all. Again, PCs are just tickling these paladins. A lot of dead villagers. This is going to be disrupted. Trebs all taken down. PC was taken out here, but Mill put in its place. And just not enough halberdiers sent back to deal with this. You needed to send back more. I keep on sending back like 3. You need to have a pretty decent group back here to deal with this. But White Cav coming in, we have the upgrades for them ready. If that happens, I think it's going to be pretty tough for Cuban Cigars again. especially considering how many paladins have been taken down already. Village is going to go to safety of PC. Again, there's just no damage on these paladin whatsoever. But yeah, having access to this gold, it's not been fully utilized at this point, but it is at least preventing Cuban Cigars from accessing it. I like the building of barracks back here. Rather than sending your halberdiers back, you can build them here. It's a pretty good idea. Got a small group here that can also assist. Castle in the base, also very nice to deal with raids. Guilds. Haven't seen guilds in a while. Trade more favorably. Especially, could be good with less gold on the map. Some gold there as well. But this push has been stalled out a little bit. And we're thinking of just pure hussar raids. Don't know if it's the play. Don't know if it's the play with all these halberdiers on the floor. Just doesn't seem viable. I don't like it. Watch it work now that I've said that. But yeah, no trickle treads. Get lots of treads out on the floor. Light cav for the skirmishes. This castle's gonna go down quick. It's gonna be very hard to stop this push. There's no repairs on that. The Sars are just gonna raid the back here. There are halberdiers. I don't like that for Cuban Cigars. They're gonna rush the treads. Treads now firing on units. Imagine dying to a tread. I mean, how embarrassing. Villagers are gonna die building this, repairing this castle. Still got 3 treads here, firing. Castle goes down. Economy is no longer protected. I want to see some more tread fire on skirmishes. Yeah, more villagers going down, and we see the villager league for butts now. We've got no gold on Cuban Cigars, a very bad sign. We've even got villagers rushing into the town centre fire here. I think that was just a meat grinder situation of just sending units to their death. No siege or like rams or something supporting that. Love the trebuchet shots here. Missing there, unfortunately. Only 3 paladins on the floor. They're not going to have opportunity to build any more paladins. And yeah, Hussar not going to do it on the sides. Just need to keep building light cav at this point. 3 paladin, you know, protecting these paladins for as long as they can, making sure they don't go down. Microing away from trebuchet shots. Again, another trebuchet death. Can we see how many kills? 35 kills on trebuchets. I haven't seen that many kills on trebuchets for a while. Or ever, I will say. This trebuchet just wandering up the hill. And again, the meat grinder just continues. You know, these light cabs could be put to such better use. It's literally a meat grinder. They're not even getting to the base at this point. just haven't been able to get to enough light cav to finish this group off. But I think we're going to try and transition into swordsman time. Taking out a treb with skirmishers is pretty hard. Villagers coming over to take that out. You still have 2,000 gold. So archers are still an option. I guess you don't want to go archers until the skirmishers are dead. These 3 paladins still alive. Gonna get some hits on these paladins here with these halberdiers. I would like to see Siege Workshop here to ram these down because they're pretty annoying. Pretty annoying. But all we can do is go into skirm. Like skirm is basically the only option at this point for Huns. They've stopped going to light cav altogether, but that's because they're at their cap limit. So actually having some of these halberdier die would actually be quite nice. Halberdier being lured away from the trebs though. Butts do realise this though. So these Hussar are not going to reach there in time. Again, Siege Workshop on the side here would be nice. Yeah. It was nice to get some kills on skirmishes with trebs, but it obviously can't be your long-term play. And yeah, surprised that these villagers have been allowed to live. Good to see it's been raided a bit to the side now. Hussars coming in the back here. Don't know how much damage they're actually going to find. Halberdier's coming in the back. Gonna annoy that wood line. Skirmisher mass, you know, it's been pretty steady at that number for a while. And Cuban Cigars throw in the towel. Yeah, I didn't see a way for victory for them at this point, so I think that was warranted for sure. But yeah, good persistence here from good old Team Butts. Yeah, longbow mass would have been fine. I did like the thought of going into champion here. Although they don't have the gold for it anymore. They can sell that stone, obviously. But I think if you go in champion at this point, it's a trash killer. Uncounterable at this point in the game. I think it was a pretty good shout to do that. Mix it in with halberdier as well. But yeah, we're at 1 apiece. It's nice. That's nice. Let's get into the next game. I'll just go back to the starting screen. And let's head over to game number 3. All right, okay. Back to live scene. All right, we are on Arabia. We have, I've done it again. For some reason, when it should stay the same whenever I do this and not change. I'm obviously doing something wrong. Butts is still there. But Cuban Cigars doesn't want to save Cuban Cigars. Well, there we go. That is solved. All right. We have Cuban Cigars on the Tatars. We have Butts on the Hindustanis. Great juice, you were correct in that prediction. And we are on Arabia. So obviously we are all familiar with Arabia, well and truly, but it's played in the what's the tournament called again? As we quickly switch over, Dual Domination. Of course I need it. It's the Dual Domination tournament. 2 players per team. So it's Arabia, unlike you've seen Arabia before. The micro potential is going to go through the roof. And this one is for the victory. So 1 apiece. Whoever wins this wins the series, but it is group stage, of course, so nobody will be relegated at this point. But yeah, I think both players have played extremely well. 900 ELO average is what I estimate this to be. Yeah, just really impressive stuff from both teams in a tournament setting. So it's been really cool to see. Gonna see deer pushing. Not sure if chickens are a thing in the map pool. Chickens have been introduced to the game though, of course, but I think it's about a 50-50 chance that you get deer or chickens. So could just be the fact that it's randomly generated deers this time instead of chickens. I want to see a bit of chicken action. I haven't seen it much yet, although it's been in the game for a little while. The matchup. Hindustanis can counter anything. They literally can counter every single sim in the game. They have Gulam, which is good against archers. Obviously can't get it into a castle with a castle age unit. You've got hand cannons in the late game. You've got really good camels, obviously, probably the best camels in the game. Kajaras maybe could rival that, although Kajaras aren't a particularly good civ right now. And yeah, you're just not really missing anything. Like, if you want to go for it, you can go for it. You've got Hissa, you've got Heavy Cav Archer, you've got Champion. You're missing Halberdier, but you've got the Camel. You just basically have every option available to you. So whenever I see Hindustanis, I'm like, I gotta favor that player. Gotta favor Hindustanis. However, like I said, Tatars are my favorite civs. Love their opening that they can do. They can either go into scouts or archers, makes them a little less predictable. You know, if you're going Huns like the last game, almost guaranteed that the player, you know, you're going to go into Cav, you can prep your Spearman. You can't necessarily do that with Tatars. Not quite sure of what they'll do. So we'll see how that plays out. But you obviously want to get to Cav Archer and Hussar probably as your combo. A little susceptible to things like camels, Hindustanis. But you have a good power spike, I would say. If you get enough Cav Archer, you can snowball that into a victory. We're on gold, so I think we're probably thinking, I was going to say archers, sneaking militia. You know, not a you don't think of Tatars as a militia men-at-arms rush kind of civ, but you know, you collect food quite fast on these, or you have more food available to you on goats. That can help with a rush such as this. So I don't hate it. Don't hate it. But it'll be interesting to see what he follows up. Is the next series Why Way or Why Urchins Are Bad? You're talking about my How to Play series. I do have a How to Play series on the shoe. I really love that series, and I really loved making that series. And it was a lot of work to do on top of my my job, family commitments. I've got a 1.5-year-old daughter, but I made that series happen, and I will make more series on How to Play. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say it's a How to Play series. It's a blueprint series where I make a blueprint of how you're supposed to, I put in quotation marks, play each civ. It was fun. It was really fun to make, and I will make more. I think I'm leaning towards urchins. Urchins? I need to figure out what they're actually called. I'm leaning towards them because they seem like more balanced than the other civs. I think the way is too weak. You know, I think they'll get buffed in some ways that might make the video irrelevant. Urchins might be the way to go, but I'm completely neglecting what is happening here, which is Cuban Cigars have been an absolute menace here on the men-at-arms rush. Has created a lot of disruption. Men-at-arms are going down though. And causing a lot of villages to be on straggler trees. A lot of pinging by Cuban Cigars, so they're obviously communicating with one another through pings, which I like. Being a Dota player myself, I'm very used to the ping as a communication tool and as a tilt tool, I guess you could say. With other players pinging me, I wouldn't ping other players. But other players have certainly pinged me. But yes, going for some walls. These are very cautious walls, I will say. Would have liked to see a wall here instead of here, because it secured all of that space back here. Don't know about the Skirmisher edition, because we haven't seen any archery range yet. And yeah, just some bizarre choices actually from both players, having a militia in here as well. Don't know why that was added. I don't know why the skirmishers have been added. But they will tickle the wood line and create some inefficiencies. Yeah. I don't know. This seems scrappy. This seems like a scrappy game. With no clear it doesn't seem like there's a clear game plan yet for either player. I do like the economy for the Hindustani player. One Spearman raid. Don't really like the economy setup for Cuban Cigars at all. think I like Hindustani's position better, which is surprising because Cuban Cigars have shown themselves to be a really strong team, and they obviously still have every opportunity to win this game. But I'm expecting Cuban Cigars uh, to step it up here. That would be my default position. But yeah, a bit of a lull in the action at this point. Man, wouldn't it be great if these are archers instead of skirmishers? No, because they're not going to do anything. However, it is forcing a tower of response, which is, I'm going to say, quite crazy. The two skirmishers don't even have the potential to kill anything, other than disrupt. I guess it's quite annoying. It's quite. Are there any spears at home? I don't even know if there's a spear at home. So there could be some run-through potential, some pick-up potential. Yes, that's the problem with the tower. You just move somewhere else with the skirms. And they're being annoying somewhere else. Nearly gets a pick off, but not quite. He can't quite pick off these two annoying, like, so annoying. He's trying to circle, trying to find a way to kill these skirmishers. Village is going to go down for his efforts. There's going to be some more dodging, and man, this is annoying. This is so annoying. This spearman's killed 3 units. He's done a lot of damage. Well worth the recruitment there. But here come the cavalry. I just passed this. Get rid of this. Skirmishers finally go down. And the economy is picking up here. For Cuban Cigars behind all of this though, so this distraction has allowed this to happen. We've even got some walls to the edge of the map. I love to see, still want to see this wall for sure. And we're in castle. So I'm expecting some cav archer. Remember, Hindustanis can get through walls really quick as go. Second PC going down on stone. That's cool. Would like to see a castle, so I love that. Lots of hills in the middle here, by the way. So it could be some good castle positions in here. As I am slightly dying, I think I said last time that I'm kind of recovering from a cold. I'm going to get a lozenge, but we are going to focus right here on Cuban Cigar base. While we look at this, I'll be back. I think it's a good place to step away. Alright. We are on Cav Archer. And we've got a forward siege workshop coming. Lemon Toaster. Yes. Lemon Toaster's gonna cast 2 to 3 sets of the Scrappy Lemons League tomorrow. He's in the chat. I suggest to follow for Lemon Toaster there. That is gonna be hype. Get on it, it's gonna be really good. Here we go. Here is Cuban Cigars going forward. They're now going to get onto this gold with their Cav Archer. They're going to get ballistic, so that's going to be really good for ranking. Not in yet though. So hasn't quite got the villager kills he's looking for, but taking off that gold is really nice. Siege Workshop Mangonel coming out. That's going to be good against the skirmisher response. And I don't know, you don't really need to try and take these skirmishers. Although, got the hill bonus, got the Kenobi bonus, taking good advantage of it, but still not a favourable trade by any means. Here comes the Mangonel. 2 TCs apiece. Need to produce more and more of these Mangonels because if Skirmisher is the response, we need enough Mangonels to deal with that. Happy to see this wall. Could probably put another TC down for sure. Although it does seem to have a bit of a wood problem. You can get that problem, of course, producing Cav Archer. A couple of dead villagers here trying to build houses. And that unbuilt house is going to go down quick. We're going to Scout Cap. Why would we not go into Camel, get Husbandry and go into Camel, and then these Cav Archers won't be so much of an issue. So I think that's a mistake, if I'm being honest. None of the Cav have any upgrades right now either. And you know, they've gone into these skirms in response to the Cav Archer, but haven't really taken advantage of the Hindustani's best units, I would say. More villagers went down there, by the way. So these Mangonels doing work. Another villager goes down. There's 3 kills for the Mangonels. And at the same time, the villager count is getting out of control. More TCs going down behind us. And the TC is now in range of the Mangonels. Skirmishers go down. Is considering running through with the Cav Archer. One Mangonel come across to take the skirmishers or fend them off. And 2 Mangonels on this, and the repairs. Like, repairing this is so annoying. They have enough stone. Delete this farm, delete this house. Put down a castle right here, and you fend off the Mangonels. But no, dive with the skirms instead. It might have been a self-hit there at some point, actually. These villagers stop responding. Oh, that's a big hit though. got a bit cocky there and leaves the door open a little bit, I would say. It's so low on wood though, and so many idle villages. The res collector is going to spiral out of control with this many idle villages, especially as you know, Imperial Age is going to come out. Another big shot though. Good mangonel micro here, so that's definitely a positive to take out of this. Direct shot, just as I say it. And yeah, we've had enough stone for a castle for a while. So unfortunate that we're only putting the castle down now. Imagine if we put down a castle like here or here. You know, I don't love this castle position. Why not save the TC while you can? And we're going to go into Gulag, which I like. Again, we could have gone into Gulag a little bit earlier though. If we put the castle down when we were able. Or am I looking at the wrong team again? I swear Butt5 had enough stone for a castle. But yeah, no Cav Archer to defend these mangonels. So Butt5 have held, but at what cost? Like, I think they're dead. So, especially now with Imperial and villagers coming forward with the castle on the hill as Tatars. Elite Step Lance coming out. These 3 light cav are not going to do the business here. Light cav are in on villages, causing more idle time. We're nearly at 10k difference in res collected. And as soon as this castle comes out and the trebs come out, that castle over there is going to be a sitting duck castle. I will expect the trebs to come out any second now. There we go. But Elite Step Lancer, you know, you still have to worry about the Archer Fire, of course. Elite Steps only have 3 armor right now. They don't have many armor upgrades. I think this is a little unnecessary, painting these shops. Good to scout back here to see what's going on. Haven't even looked at Cuban Cigars base for a while. It is pumping, absolutely pumping. Tread coming out. Gonna start firing on that castle. And Butt5 have no way to handle this. Running directly under the castle? Why? I guess he stopped resources being gathered. But this seems a little unnecessary, especially as again I'm looking at the wrong colour here. He does have chain barding armor. He has chain barding armor now. It's better under castle and TC fire. But there we go. Cuban Cigars pull off another 2-1. So they're killing it in group stage. But I love the fight from Butt5 here. You know, I think they fell off in this game, and it shows Cuban Cigars' skill, 100%. But I really liked game 1 and game 2 from Butt5. I thought they were a good team, and you know they'll learn from this series, and you know if they go through to the next round, which they probably should, I believe they will have a good chance of getting through. They could build on this. they could really build on this. So good stuff by them. Yeah, well, that is the series for the evening. I will be back. I will be back another time to cast more. I think if I quickly go into the Discord, I think there's a game being played maybe in a couple of hours. It's going to be New Kid versus Bucks. And actually, I think they've already played their first game. And they're going to play their second and third game in a couple of hours, is what I'm looking at. But Butts are also playing LGU AOE the following day. So Butts are doing their games in pretty quick succession here. So I might be able to cast some of those over the next couple of days. But yeah, I think I'll round out the stream at this point. But yes, I do want to say again, Lemon Toaster, comments in the chat, he's going to cast some of the Scrappy Lemons League. You know, Lemon Toaster, Scrappy Lemons League. He is one of the organizers of the league. So shout out to him. Grape Juice being one of the other admins. Yeah, check it out. And really support these guys because I think they've done a really good job starting out that tournament, as have the admins for Dual Domination as well. So I say it over and over again. The guys who are organizing these tournaments, they're legends. They're legends. They set up everything for us to enjoy, whether you're a player in these tournaments, anybody can join these tournaments, right? They're set up for people to enjoy, and they're set up for casters. A couple of people like me are around and about casting these tournaments, having a good time. You know, it's just really cool to see. So definitely encourage these guys, support these guys setting up these tournaments. All right, well, with that, I will bid you adieu and look out for more and more streams of mine coming up. I've got a YouTube channel. It's also SnoweyViking. If you look up SnoweyViking, Age of Empires, you can find the YouTube channel. I actually post a lot of these series on there, so find those there. If you haven't already, give me a follow if you want to get updates on when I'm streaming. But you can find me in the Discord. I will always post in the Discord if I am doing a stream and the live stream announcement channels. So find me there as well. I'm definitely around. But yeah, I'll leave it there and I'll catch you guys next time. Laters.